Hello students, welcome to English with Poonam. Here in this video, I have a poem for class 12 students. A beautiful poem, My Mother at 66, written by Kamala. We will be doing recitation of the poem, followed by explanation and new words used in the poem. Hope you are going to enjoy this session. Poem students, let's discuss about the poet. Das was born on March 31st, 1934 in Malabar, Kerala. She is one of India's most prolific writers and was deeply influenced by the writings of her uncle Nalapat Narayan Menon. Das took to writing at an early age and after her marriage was encouraged by her husband to write. Her works are known for their originality, versatility and the indigenous flavor of the soil. Kamala Das has published many novels and short stories in English and Malayalam under the name Madhavi Kutti. Some of her works in English include the novel Alphabet of Lust, a collection of short stories, Padmavati the Harlot and other stories, in addition to 5 books of poetry. She is a sensitive writer who captures the complex subtleties of human relationships from the perspective of a woman, a daughter, a wife, a mother. She shot into fame with the publication of her autobiography, My Story, in 1976, which was originally written in Malayalam, titled Antekatha, which she translated later into English. She passed away in 2009 at the age of 79. Dear students, the poem My Mother at 66 is a beautiful reflection of poet's sensitivity as a writer. It highlights her deep understanding of the complexities of human relationships and explores the pain and agony of her aged mother. Let's read the poem first. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doze, open-mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain that she was as old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. But after the airport's security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, worn pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. So you must have observed that whole poem is a long sentence. So the poem is written in free verse. It has no rhyming scheme and poet is trying to narrate one thought after another. I'll give you outline of the poem first. In the poem My Mother at 66, the poet talks about her mother and mother-daughter relation, and she also shares her feelings for her mother. The poem also explores the feelings of melancholy and pain that a daughter experiences while leaving her mother all by herself. The poem brings home the theme that aging is a natural process, yet the fear of separation from your loved and near ones is very painful. The poem talks about the feeling of loneliness the aged people experience and the feeling of guilt which their children experience for not being able to be with their parents in their old age. The poem has been written in lyrical idiom and it brings out the complexity of human relationships. The poet had gone to meet her mother and is now driving back to the airport. On the way, she notices the pale face of her mother and is struck with an instant realization that her mother is very old. She accepts the mother's aging as a natural process and continues on her journey, trying to hide her guilt under her sweet smile. Such is the complexity of our life that we have to forego one relation for another due to the demands and commitments of life. I'm sure you will agree with me that a woman has to play several roles in her lifetime, be that of a daughter, a wife, a mother, but the role of daughter is most complex role that she has to play. Now, I'm going to explain the poem. The poet's visit to her old mother has come to an end and she has to go back to her house. So she is going to Cochin in a car to take a flight home from there. Her 66-year-old mother accompanies her to the airport. Driving from my parents' home to Cochin last Friday morning, I saw my mother beside me, doors open mouthed, her face ashen like that of a corpse, and realized with pain. While driving from her parents' home to Cochin Airport, Poet notices her mother, who was sitting beside her, dozing with her mouth open. Her mother's face was pale and colorless like a dead body. The expression on her face was clearly one of pain, born out of fear of separation and old age. A sudden fear and pain crops up in the poet's mind, and she realizes that her mother is old now and could pass away, leaving her all alone. Though the realization was alarming, it was hard to accept. So now the poetic device used here is simile. And what is simile, class? A simile is a figure of speech that compares two different things. It is used to make a description more vivid. So here poet has compared her mother's face with that of a corpse, a dead body. As old as she looked, but soon put that thought away and looked out at young trees sprinting, the merry children spilling out of their homes. The poet was alarmed by the sudden realization that old age had crept upon her mother. It was a reality she found hard to accept. The poet was pained to see her mother's colorless, pale face. In order to drive her thoughts away from the agony and pain, on looking at her mother's colorless pale face, poet looks outside the car window and finds young trees whizzing past her and young children rushing out of their homes to play. This sight makes her think about old age and the inescapable decay of human life, particularly her mother's. The uncanny fear about her mother's physical decay upsets and grieves the poet. All this probably reminded her of her childhood when her mother was young. The young sprinting trees represented how fast time had flown by. The children represented youth, which was full of life and energy. Both the young trees and the children presented a sharp contrast to the mother sitting beside her. Children, the poetic device used here is imagery. Trees printing, the merry children spilling out of their homes. They represent youth, vitality, life, and growth. For security check, standing a few yards away, I looked again at her, worn pale as a late winter's moon, and felt that old familiar ache, my childhood's fear. But all I said was, "See you soon, Amma." All I did was smile and smile and smile. After reaching the airport and passing through security check, the poet again looks at her mother, who was standing a few yards away from her. Her mother looked lifeless and dull like a late winter's moon, which cannot be seen clearly because of mist and fog. Once again, she was pained to see her mother in this condition. As she was going away and leaving her mother, her old familiar pain, her childhood fear that she would lose her mother suddenly came back to her. So she tried to hide her emotions behind a smile. She did not want to reveal her feelings to her mother and bids her farewell with a smile. Even her words, "See you soon," seem ironical to her, for she is not sure how soon she would be able to see her, and also if the mother would be alive for that long. That's why she hides all her worries and anxieties behind a long and sweet smile and bids her mother a cheerful send off. She gave hope to her mother and herself by saying that they would meet again and kept on smiling. Again, the poetic device used here is simile. She compared her mother with her mother's face with late winter's moon. Pale and worn reinforce the idea of paleness and lifelessness. Winter symbolizes death, thus the mother's face is indicative of her very frail health and approaching death. So there's another poetry device, that's the repetition, smile and smile and smile. The repetition of the word smile indicates the rather long and artificial smile the poet had to put on to cheer up her mother and to hide her own worry, anxiety, and guilt. Now, new words used in the poem. Doze means nap, sleep lightly. Ashen means colorless, maybe due to illness or fear. Corpse, dead body. Spilling out, coming out quickly. Sprinting, moving fast or running very fast. Wan, colorless. Ache, a continuous feeling of pain. Dear students, I hope you have understood the meaning and poetic devices used in the poem. If you have any doubt, do post your queries in the comments. Thank you.